Hello, everybody. Welcome to Browns and Beyond, your home for Cleveland Browns content, NFL content, and other sports content. If you're enjoying the show, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell so you stay locked in with all the latest sports content. And most importantly, drop us a comment. We want to hear your thoughts. All right, boys, here we are. It's a Thursday. We're here at Laconi's. What happened, guys? It's 50 degrees outside. What?
Hey, I'll take it, Brent.
Yeah.
You know, I as a person that doesn't like extremely cold weather, I'm happy about that. Although somebody had said there might be some snow on the horizon this weekend, so got to be careful with that. But I'll take it.
We'll take it. We got a heat wave here. What do you think, Steve?
I'm loving this weather, Brent. I can open my back door in my kitchen and everything. I mean,
that's beautiful. You got a T-shirt on today. What's going on?
I'm not even in my sweatshirt or my clothes.
Why don't you be like me and wear flip-flops? Is that okay?
You could wear flip-flops today.
I know.
Like Brent. You want to be like me?
Yeah, be like me. Yeah. Dead of winter, I'm wearing flip-flops. All right, guys. We will start with the first topic, an interesting one. And then what is your take on all the latest NFL firings? And also discuss some of the opening NFL head coaching positions. Matter of fact, I think there's 8 openings. Am I right, Dave?
Yes, there's 8 openings. 7 coaches were let go. They call it Black Monday or Pink Slip Monday, however way.
Oh, I think it was black all week because it was Black Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I think it was every day we got a firing, right?
Doesn't it seem like a lot of coaches than a normal season?
Yeah,
it is for sure.
I think more than a few of these aren't a surprise and very easily could be justifiable.
Yeah, and also kind of give your take on the Mike McDaniel firing as well. I want to get into that as well.
It happened today.
It happened today, and does that kind of have any impact with the Cleveland Browns? Would they interview him, and would he be a good candidate? We will start with Mr. Dave Greetshow. Dave, give us your insight on this, all the NFL, the firing situation, and all the openings.
Well, gentlemen, we have to start with the obvious. We are Browns and Beyond, so let's start from the top. And this should come as no surprise. Mr. Kevin Stefanski. The Browns did what they thought they were going to do.
Wait, Steve, are you okay with that?
By the way, letting the two-time NFL head coach of the year winner go. All right.
I think Steve got drunk on a school night because he's so happy about Stefanski getting let go, right, Steve?
Guys, I've been waiting for this for 2 or 3 years.
All right. Well, let's
get Dave.
Let's run it down. By the way, gentlemen, there's some good here. Okay. By the way, from 2020 to 2023, Stefanski led the Browns to 2 playoff appearances, the highest winning percentage at 552 for a team over that 4-year stretch since 1986 to 1989, the Marty Schottenheimer / Bud Carson era. We remember that well, don't we, Steve?
I do. Those were the fun times.
Yeah, I think Brent remembers it well as we're that old, folks, that we remember.
Was I like in pajamas and bunny slippers at age 10 watching the Browns? I don't know. Yeah.
Brent, I don't need that mental picture.
Okay.
Whatever. I can name the
night. Sorry, buddy.
I don't need to know what was going on in East Canton in the 80s, okay? Leave that one alone.
All right. Keep going, Dave. Keep going. Oh, man.
But Cleveland has struggled over the past 2 seasons with a combined record of 8-26. There were some good here, gentlemen. In 2020, he led the Browns to their first playoff victory since 1994. A win over the dreaded Pittsburgh Steelers, Steve, in Pittsburgh.
Oh, God, that was great.
It was great. Those were the fun times. By the way, he also led the Browns to another playoff appearance after the 2023 season, a season in which he had 5 different starting quarterbacks, a lot of which weren't very good. Let's be fair here.
Yeah.
So
I was going to say real
go ahead,
fast,
Steve. Chime.
In that Pittsburgh win, Stefanski, I think, had COVID, so he didn't watch it in his basement.
Right.
So
he doesn't even get credit for the win.
Mike Prefer was actually the coach. He was the special teams coordinator.
Coach, yeah.
He coached the Browns to a victory over Pittsburgh in that game, by the way.
By the way, I wish we had Prefer back this season because Bubba Ventrone has been a disaster.
Prefer might look good compared to Bubba.
The Browns used 3 different quarterbacks in 2025. It's kind of what we expected coming into the season. Let's be fair, guys. We thought it would be Flacco. We thought it would be Dylan Gabriel.
Everybody get a shot.
And we thought it'd be Shador.
And at one time, I thought Kenny Pickett would even get it.
Right. And to be fair, we saw all 3. I believe the beginning of the end for Stefanski in Cleveland was right after the Week 9 bye. It was right around that time frame. I was trying to think of the right time frame. Stefanski announced that he was handing play calling duties over to the offense.
And he probably was told to do that,
Louise.
right?
Yeah, that came from above.
Yeah,
we do believe that came from Jimmy and management.
Andrew Berry.
Yeah. This marked the second consecutive year that Stefanski relinquished the responsibility. I think this was a sign that writing was on the wall. Now, to be fair, I was done with him after the Vikings loss overseas. I thought he mismanaged the end of that game, a game that they should have won. That was Gabriel's first start at quarterback.
Wasn't that close to the bye week?
It was a timeout issue or something.
Well, at the end, he played very passive when they had a chance to run off the clock.
That's right.
And win the game.
They really should have tried to get the first down, and they didn't. I remember that now.
Exactly, and he did mismanage the timeouts at the end of the game with the defense.
Yeah. Okay, keep going. Yep, you're right.
So, again, he relinquished responsibility. By the way, the Browns scored fewer than 20 points in 11 games this season, tied for the most in the league as far as fewest games of scoring 20 points. The season ended with back-to-back victories. That would be enough as he was terminated on Monday. So what happened? After being the first Browns coach to lead the team into the playoffs twice since Marty Schottenheimer, think about that. Only one coach we've had since we've been around as Browns fans that has had multiple playoff appearances as a Browns head coach is Marty Schottenheimer and Kevin Stefanski. That's actually an accurate statement.
They never gave anyone a shot. Jimmy
That's
was
true.
firing guys left and right.
Yeah, that's true. Kevin,
Some of us are only getting 1 year.
Kevin got 6.
Okay.
Yep.
So, and Marty led the Browns to 4 straight playoff appearances. This is when I first became a Browns fan.
And I loved Marty.
Yeah.
Marty was one of my favorites. all
R.I.P.
time for
Marty.
Browns.
Yep. 1985 to 1988. Well, where did it all go wrong? Gentlemen, we have 2 words. Deshaun Watson. That's where it started. That's why we're here. A move that led the Browns to the awful spot that they are in currently. A move that Jimmy Haslam took the blame for. The Browns also announced that Andrew Berry, who arrived in Cleveland with Stefanski, will remain in his position as general manager. Guys, how does that happen?
I will say this.
Go ahead.
I don't love Stefanski.
Yes.
But Berry could have been on his way out, too. There was one thing that saved his job.
Go ahead.
I think you guys know what it is. I'll tell you. I think you'll agree. The 25 draft saved his job.
Yeah.
If he didn't have that,
He's
he's
gone.
gonzo
Steve,
just as well. It's a package deal going in. It would have been a package deal leaving.
Yeah,
the
we can
building.
make an argument 25 wasn't that great because he got Dylan.
Steve, exactly. He missed on Dylan Gabriel. And by
But
the
that
way,
was Stefanski's guy. Stefanski
That's true.
Dylan.
That's
Berry
true.
took more of the guys he wanted.
That's
By the
true.
way,
Those guys did
That's
well.
true. He don't talk
Guys
like the
did
hit
well.
for Gabriel.
let me make a few
Go ahead.
points
Sorry,
here.
Dave.
What if Tyler Shook and Jackson Tart are that dude?
Oh God.
What
Another
if
miss.
they are that dude?
Another miss.
You like Tyler Shuck and Jackson Dart has looked good at times. What if they are that dude and management and Andrew Berry missed on both of those quarterbacks? How is that not egg on their face?
That
Steve?
should be on Berry. I'll admit that should be on Berry as well.
And by the way, do we not think that Berry bears some of the responsibility for the Watson decision? Jimmy fell on the sword, but let's be fair.
Don't you think
To
Barry
be
wanted
fair,
him?
I don't think Stefanski did want him.
No,
There was
they
some
already
rumors out
said he didn't want
that
him.
he didn't want.
No.
And then remember, Brent, we watched it. They had meetings. That they were on TV and Jamie, they're saying we can't wait to coach and play with with each other.
Remember it was fake.
Yes.
Yeah, it was very fake.
Remember
It looked
that?
Like they read off a teleprompter.
Remember they look at each other at a table
Yeah.
and it's like, hey,
They're smiling and
Yeah.
oh, we're back to business.
yeah.
Smile.
So how's your day going?
Yeah.
And by the way, keep in mind, our O-line is awful. Our wide receivers are awful. Isn't Barry picking the players? I mean, we agreed on a complete clean house at the start of the season, Steve. That's where I'm going
Yep.
with this.
I mean, he did bad with some free agents over the years.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
his older drafts were not good. I will say this draft was excellent, though.
Yeah,
Most of them.
well, most of them. Mason Graham has been good at times. Dylan Gabriel was an awful pick. I do believe Fannin and I do believe Schlesinger are going to be awesome players. I do believe Judkins is going to be very good
Yeah,
too.
he hit
So
he hit on
yes.
4 or 5 picks.
Yeah, but the miss at quarterback is still huge. And remember,
Yeah.
if Shuck and Dart are really good, that's huge. Because nothing moves the needle more than quarterback. And
Yeah,
if we
you're right.
fail on that, we're not going anywhere as a franchise. I don't have a problem with letting Kevin go. I do have a problem with keeping Barry. Me and Steve agreed on it early in the season. Brent, I believe you are on board. We wanted a complete clean house here. Did
Yeah,
we not, John?
I did. Yep.
Yes.
Okay. Thoughts? You do completely agree on the clean house. So we're on the same page. Just
Sure.
want to make sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So
And Dave, I'm nervous about keeping Barry. That doesn't attract big name coaches. It doesn't attract much
Because
at
they're going
all.
to do what we said, the puppet.
Yeah, like the puppet scenario. You know what I mean, guys? I mean, who wants to come in knowing that he's going to keep Barry?
It reminds
Usually
me of
they
the
want
Cowboys.
right, Dave?
Schottenheimer.
Most coaches wanted a new GM and a new coach and new coaches.
Yeah, let me just say this. We all know Steve, you run a small business. Brent, you run a small business.
Sure.
Yes.
What's the problem with Brown's organization? Where does it start? Right at the top.
At the top?
Right at the
With
top.
Jimmy.
It starts right at the top. And you know what? I listened to Jason Lloyd on the Cleveland Sports
you're not
Show.
wrong.
He made a great point. Berea and the Browns organization broke Kevin Stefanski. It did. It just did. And I don't think Kevin Stefanski is a bad coach. I don't think he's a great. You know what I say there is?
No, he's in the middle. He's mid-pack.
He's middle of the pack.
He
There,
is.
as they say, there are
But
levels.
we don't want middle of the pack, do we?
Well, okay. Yeah, there are levels to this, gentlemen. He would never make the top 5 coaches that we talked about
That's
in the
correct.
season. He wouldn't make that. I think there are great coaches. I think there are good coaches. I think there are mediocre coaches, and I think there are bad coaches. I think he's somewhere between mediocre to good. Now, he has to have the right roster like everybody else has. So,
But the nice thing about him is he can keep the peace with an existing organization. I'm with Steve, though. I don't think he can grow an organization. He can't rebuild an organization,
If
right?
he has a roster set in place, he probably can win 10 or 11 games.
okay,
I'll give him that. But what I don't like is
go ahead.
when he
Steve.
doesn't have a roster, he doesn't develop young quarterbacks,
No.
so we know that.
No.
He's
right.
not like a leader amongst men, like a Vrabel type
Or a
whatever.
Campbell.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like he can't do it, guys. I mean, that's why
can't.
he's more of the bottom of a bottom coach.
I want to move into a few more coaches. I just want to close
Sure.
out with my last thought here, gentlemen. Then we'll go around the room. Is Kevin Stefanski a head coach in the NFL come the 2026 season?
Yes, he is.
Yeah.
Yes, 100%.
He's a head coach, not an OC in my mind.
Okay.
And right now the Giants are going to have their pick between Hardball and Stefanski. That's what I think.
Okay. Well, how's that for the Sultan of Segway, Brent? To our next coach that was terminated, and that's John Harbaugh. The Ravens are looking for a new head coach after Harbaugh put together basically a Hall of Fame career in Baltimore. Harbaugh was fired Tuesday after guiding the Ravens to a Super Bowl title in 2012 and 6 AFC North titles and 193 victories, including 13 in the postseason. I heard this has a lot to do with a fractured relationship with Lamar Jackson. They chose the quarterback over the coach. It did not appear that Harbaugh had a lot of defenders on the team after Baltimore's 26-24 loss at Pittsburgh. I'm going to get into that later, which eliminated the Ravens from playoff contention for the first time since 2021, including the team's 2 best players, Lamar and Derrick Henry, declined to give a resounding vote of confidence to Harbaugh. ESPN's Adam Schefter reported that Harbaugh's agent, Brian Harlan, received calls from 7 different teams within 45 minutes of Harbaugh being let go. By the way, I think one of those teams still had a head coach already in place,
Yeah.
by the way. What does that say?
I know what you mean. Yeah.
Talk about the bell of the ball here,
Now,
gentlemen.
Stefanski was supposed to be the top hire.
Right.
Man, Harbaugh trumped him.
He did.
Quickly.
They said, "Oh, that's Stefanski. Yeah, you don't need to
Never
see.
mind.
Never
Forget
mind. Here.
about it.
Yeah.
We want John."
The bottom line is he will not be out of a job for long. Feelings on where John Harbaugh is going to be next season, gentlemen. You want to go, Brent?
He's going to go with the New York Giants. Absolutely,
Okay.
it's a done deal. It's a wrap.
I think the Giants would be smart if they hired him.
Okay.
Joe Schoen is staying in New York.
Okay.
He'd love to have Harbaugh
Okay.
to bring him in.
Okay.
I think the Raiders would be a good spot, but don't you think they got too many missing? They got too many
Yeah,
holes.
there's too much.
Raiders-
Too much holes.
Atlanta
right?
might be something. To
Atlanta
look
might
into.
be where Stefanski will go.
Yeah, I think
A
that
ready-made roster.
I'm gonna get
Yeah.
to the Raiders here next. I think there's too many issues with ownership there. I do
Mhm.
wonder how involved Tom Brady is.
Brady, that's right.
there.
He'll have his head.
And that really is a depleted roster. So in fact,
That's
that
what I'm
roster,
saying. It could take time to get that going.
Sure, that might even be
I almost put the Browns ahead of that. And the Browns don't even have like a top quarterback. So
right.
Steve.
They might be that might be a roster that might be more for a young coach trying to build.
Yeah, that's
know.
a build. You're right. Mendoza's going to do good, but it's still too many holes, right? Too many holes.
Right, you are great at the segue. The next coach to let go is Pete Carroll. His return to the NFL lasted 1 season. The Las Vegas Raiders began the year with a win over the New England Patriots, Steve.
They did.
A victory that certainly looks good on paper given New England's season, but things spiraled out of control from there. The Raiders lost 14 of their next 15 games, with their only win coming over the lowly Titans, breaking up what would have been a 15-game losing streak. This was a rough season. It included the Raiders firing offensive coordinator Chip Kelly earlier in the season. The offense suffered through poor quarterback play, offensive line play the entire season. It'll be interesting to see what owner Mark Davis and Tom Brady will be looking for in a new coach. One would think this would be the end for Carroll. He's 74 years old. Might be time to enjoy his golden years away from the sideline with his grandkids. Thoughts on this, Brent?
I don't think it's gonna. I think Pete Carroll, he's one of those guys that'll coach till he's dead. I just do. I think if anything, he just will. I mean, he just will.
Brent, don't you have any shame?
No, it's just me. I mean, sorry.
Yeah.
I was born in Canton, Ohio. What do you expect?
Somebody else just walk in this room. I'm talking to Brent Keaton here. I don't know.
What do you got? Oh, I'm sorry.
Yes.
Didn't mean to offend anybody. But anyway, he's going to coach until he's dead.
Oh, my goodness.
And that's it. And that's it. Other than that, no, he is. He's going to coach all the way to the end. And if anything, he might go back to college.
Okay.
And then break some more rules like he did at USC.
All right. Steve, your thoughts on
Pete Carroll?
Yeah, and maybe the Raiders' job if you want to throw in a thought.
Pete Carroll, I think it's time to ride off into the sunset.
Okay.
You're right. Go spend time with family. I don't see an NFL team hiring him. If there was any last resort, maybe a college team, guys. I don't see it.
That's what I'm saying. I could see him maybe even go back to college. He likes it too much.
Yeah,
Take a vacation.
Sure.
Think about it. Think it over.
Yeah, I think the Raiders situation is not one of the best in the NFL. I don't think that.
Well, that was kind of quicksand, him going to that in the first place.
Yeah. I mean, a 74-year-old guy to come in for
a rebuild, not as smart. No, you're right.
Well, he thought he had his guy, Geno Smith, and I called that.
I love Geno, and I was not happy when you made fun of Geno, Steve.
Listen, all I said was Geno was a slight upgrade over Aiden O'Connell and Gardner Minshew.
He wasn't breaking bread with Jesus Christ.
I wasn't saying he's Joe Montana and Tom Brady had babies, Steve. Let's be fair.
I like how Steve interpreted it the way he wanted to. Yeah. I know.
All right. Jonathan Gannon is the latest head coach to get some bad news on Monday as well. Hired after helping the Eagles to the Super Bowl. Gannon spent 3 years in Arizona. He never posted a winning season. The Cardinals finished 4-13 for his rookie season, while they improved to 8-9 in 2024. They took another step back in 2025, finishing 3-14. His record in Arizona over the 3 years, 15-36, fell wildly short of expectations. The quarterback situation, I think, really is the situation here. It'll be interesting to see if the injury-plagued Kyler Murray really has a future as the starter there. I think that doomed Gannon. I think this is also a depleted roster. There's some talent on the offensive side of the ball. Marvin Harrison, if he can stay healthy. Wilson, the receiver that we've talked about. Trey McBride at tight end. Yeah.
They have good players. They're in the hardest division in football.
Yeah.
To give them a little bit of a break. Yeah, they're in the toughest division. Rams, Seattle, right?
Arizona, is it the quarterback situation, Brent? Do you see it? Yeah.
Get him out. He's a bum.
Okay.
That's where I'm at with it.
Yeah.
I don't want him. Though.
Brissett played well in
you know what Murray is? Yeah. He's in the Baker Mayfield category.
Yeah.
He's a fringe.
That defense is not terrible, by the way.
Buda Baker. Right.
There's what's his name, Matt, that used to play for the Browns. Mm-hmm. They got a couple defenders on that team.
There's some talent on that roster. I don't think it's kind of where I still think the Browns, based on their defense and a couple of our offensive parts, might be a little bit better overall roster than the Cardinals. That's close though. But the Kyler Murray situation is the thing in Arizona that really.
Well, he's got the Lamar Jackson thing going. Him and Lamar staying up all night playing video games and watching Nick at Night.
Well,
my God.
Yeah, well, let's be fair. Lamar's put together a few MVP seasons. We've never gotten that out of Kyler Murray. I was never a Murray fan coming out of Oklahoma. I think he was an undersized quarterback. I just did not see him having a strong future in the NFL. So. Yeah. Raheem Morris, the Falcons decided to clean house on Sunday night. Not only did they fire Raheem Morris, but they also got rid of their general manager, Terry Fontenot. On Morris, he spent 2 seasons in Atlanta and went 8-9 in each of those seasons, which simply wasn't good enough for owner Arthur Blank. As for Fontenot, he made the decision to give Kirk Cousins $100 million in guaranteed money while using a first-round pick on a quarterback in the same offseason. I found that to be interesting. He gives Cousins all the dough. They draft Penix. Now, they were better with Cousins towards the end of the year than they were with Penix. Now, Brent, you think Penix has a future there, though?
He does. He is the only thing that's bad about the whole move.
Yes.
Is you could make an argument that Penix needed to have the Rodgers path.
Okay.
Remember Aaron Rodgers? He was sitting
behind Brett Favre. Yeah.
And it wasn't just 1 year.
Yeah.
Wasn't it for a few years, guys, when he was sitting behind Brett Favre? I kind of wanted that. They want the Penix way too early. Just saying.
Yeah. What do you think, Steve?
I thought
maybe the overall situation in Atlanta.
I thought Raheem Morris got a raw deal. I'm going 8-9 back-to-back seasons isn't awful. It's not a great roster. It's getting better. I understand getting rid of Fontenot, the GM, but Morris, why'd you hire him in the first place then? I mean, it's kind of how I feel. They could have given him a chance. It would have been year 3. They were doing better. I mean, in my opinion, they got better.
Yeah, I think they got better late, and I think there were expectations that this could be a playoff team. I actually think this is the second best overall roster after the Ravens, as far as the job openings are concerned.
They got the top running back in the whole game.
In Bijan Robinson.
John Robinson.
They upgraded.
Kyle Pitts, the tight end's starting to show why they drafted him. He was bad for a year or two. Now
and the owner's a good owner.
Could be a free agent.
It's a good owner.
Yeah, I like
Drake
Arthur
London's
Blank,
a good receiver.
Yeah, they have some front seven talent.
On
Pierce, yeah, exactly. There's overall good talent on the front seven. There's some skill player talent, especially with Bijan at running back. It really depends on the growth of Penix at quarterback, obviously, moving forward for this franchise. The next coach, Brian Daboll, on November 10th, obviously after a blown lead against the Bears, in part of the 4 years with the team, Daboll had a record of 20-41 over his career with the Giants after taking the Giants in the playoffs in his first season for the first time in 6 years. The Giants won only 11 games in the next 2.5 seasons. These past seasons were nothing but disappointing for the Giants, leaving 23-24 season with a record of combined of 6, with a 6-11 record, leaving the 24-25 season with a record of 3-14. So 6-11 in the 23-24 season, and 3-14. Now being halfway through the 2025 season, he had a record of 2-8 under Daboll. Most likely he's an OC moving forward. I hear he's interested in maybe going to college. He's actually rumored at Ohio State. Ohio State's looking for an offensive coordinator or an NFL OC. I think there's talent on both sides of the ball. They may have their QB of the future in Jackson Dart. General Manager Joe Shane still has his job while leading the charge in search of a new coach. That might be debatable. I know what you feel about Joe Shane there, Steve. Thoughts on on Daboll being gone? Probably bounces back as an OC. I think is his future.
Yeah, I like the move. I'm a big Daboll guy, but he wouldn't win enough games. And how many years did he have there?
Well, he was there, the 22 season, the 23 season, 24.
He's had enough.
This 4th season.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he was living off that playoff appearance in the 22 season.
Yeah.
I think Steve and I talked about this not too long ago, and he's not like a big motivator, rah guy. He's more of an OC type.
Yes,
right.
He did some good things with Josh Allen in Buffalo.
Sure. Yeah, he's built to be an OC.
I tend to agree with you.
He's more of a McDaniel type.
And
he's got to fit in the OC.
Say this, I like Daboll. I do agree he's more of an OC type. But one thing he did do was him and Daniel Jones. Did you see that at the end of last year? I mean, he was shaking his head at him. He just couldn't stand him. And then go figure, Jones had a great year
Shane Steichen.
this year with Shane Steichen before he got injured. That might have hurt Daboll a little bit.
Yeah.
Not doing good with the guy that does perform later. Now, Jones was playing poor in New York. He played better for the Colts. And then Daboll starts with Russell Wilson. Yeah. But Wilson did have, I think, one big game.
Yeah, against Dallas earlier in the year.
Yeah. I think he threw 300 or 400 yards passing or something. And it's just, I just feel like, I think it was a good move. But I do like Daboll, guys.
Yeah, I think there's talent on this roster. Jackson Dart has showed some signs that he can be a quarterback. is that combination of what I call Dartaboo with Jackson
I love
Dart
that. Cam Scatterbo.
Cam Scatterbo at running back.
He'll be back.
They get Wandale Robinson at wide receiver. Malik Neighbors back. They've got some talent on that D line with Brian Burns, Abdul Carter, who we really like. Steve closed the season really strong.
Yeah,
might have given Schlesinger a run for defensive rookie of the year.
Burns just right behind Myles Garrett, or real close.
So
sacks.
Yeah, I mean they've got some skill player talent. They may have quarterback and they may have some D line talent. This is a good roster. In fact, it's fine.
They got guys.
In my view, it's fighting the Giants for the second best roster available amongst these job openings. Last coach we want to get to because it was announced today, Mike McDaniel. Mike, he found himself without a job. The Miami Dolphins fired him Thursday after 4 seasons as a franchise head coach. It seemed like McDaniel's 5-3 run down the stretch wouldn't save him. We thought he was going to be gone maybe after the Browns game. I didn't think they would let him on the plane. I thought he was done. So I'm sorry, guys. However, the organization seemed to. I'm sorry. Yeah, I thought he was done so after the loss here. I really did. However, the organization seemed to need more time to digest the 2025 campaign, its entirety. And once they did, it became clear they wanted to go through a full reset after removing general manager Chris Greer midseason. He leaves behind a tenure in Miami where he goes 35-35 overall, includes an 0-2 playoff record despite helping the Dolphins reach the postseason in each of his first 2 seasons. In the years since, however, the Dolphins posted back-to-back under 500 campaigns, including 2025. The Tua situation was a big part of his downfall. He was benched in favor of rookie Quinn Ewers. I really believe McDaniel's future is as an OC. You guys agree?
Yeah.
What do you guys think about the Miami job as well?
I think he is one that could get another head coaching spot.
Really?
Even though I'm not a McDaniel guy like that much. I just feel like he's a very smart guy. I wonder, just Tua, was there, even though I kind of like Tua to a degree, was that a hindrance? Because remember, Tua, he was kind of like up and down, and he had the injuries.
Yes,
and,
well, that
you
was,
know what I mean? Like, did McDaniel get a fair shake?
Well, what always concerned me about Tua was health concerns. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I thought that they did a really good job of surrounding him with skill player talent. I always felt he's been fortunate to have skill player talent his entire career. He played with 4 first-round draft picks at wide receiver at Alabama. But then, they go out and they get Tyreek Hill, which is going to be interesting to see how he rebounds after a nasty injury. They had Jalen Waddle. Shane's a really good running back. So they have offensive talent. The defense is really in decline.
And I feel like that might not be on McDaniel. That might be more roster construction from the GM.
That's true. Well, to be fair, give I believe Stephen Ross, the owner there, the Giants or the Dolphins, if I'm not mistaken, some credit. He did do a complete clean house, which is what we thought he should have done. Your thoughts on McDaniel and maybe the Dolphins job, Steve?
Yeah, McDaniel, I could see him going somewhere else as an OC. The Browns, I heard, had interest in him as a head coach, guys. And don't forget, he was with the Browns organization. He was under Kyle Shanahan.
Yes. Right.
Remember,
the pet
Shanahan was in the Pettin area.
Yeah.
And he remember, he was like a big name just a couple of years ago. It goes to show you have some injuries. Tua gets injured. He doesn't look like he's the starting quarterback. Now they're not a good team. It's like, what's going on?
Do you know who really never wanted Tua as his quarterback? Their former coach, Brian Flores.
And I was going to say, Brian Flores, good coach. He won games, got fired,
By the way, hot name on the circuit right now.
Yeah, Flores, big name.
He's not a franchise quarterback, but I put him in that second tier too.
Kind of a mid-tier quarterback.
Yeah, don't you agree? Not a franchise guy.
Yeah, I think when you put the right skill talent around him, he can be right. But the injury concerns have always been
fragile.
I think he kind of got a little dependent with Tyreek Hill too. I mean, Hill was out. The production was down. I know they had A-Chain, who had a great year.
Yeah.
Waddle, so.
One of the best, we talk about 1-2 punches at wide receiver. That was one of the best for a while.
Hill and Waddle, pretty good, though.
Yep.
All right. Well said. We will get to Mr. Steve Retzer. Steve, give us your take on all these latest NFL firings and also talk about some of the open coaching vacancies that kind of opened up there after all these the latest firings. Want to give us your insight, Steve?
All right, boys. As we will start with Kevin Stefanski. I've been waiting for this moment for a long time. Stefanski finally got fired. You guys, I've sent emails to Jimmy Haslam. I've ranted and raved on Facebook. I've tweeted shows. I've wanted him gone for about 2 years, possibly 3. It's not that he's a bad guy. He plays the corporate part perfectly. He's got the wife and kids. He's definitely worked extremely hard. I will say he's a hard worker. But he at least tried
Good Christian guy.
Yeah, he at least tried to win football games, guys.
Steve, why didn't you invite me to the cake party you had the night he got fired? I heard that there was a cake party and people were doing cake stands, and I didn't get to go, but I heard you were that happy about it. Anyways, continue.
Well, we were having a blast,
Okay.
That's why I just forgot about you. Sorry, buddy.
Oh my God!
It was a little too much excitement. You know what I mean? I've been waiting for this for a long time.
Okay, all right.
That's
Take a
the
shot at me.
guys.
All right. Okay. Keep going.
But he just wasn't the answer, guys. 8-26, like Dave said, is pretty bad. I know he won 2-time Coach of the Year awards. I know he went to the playoffs twice.
Yeah.
But I also thought he was way too easy on the players and the other coaches. He's a good person, but I wanted an extreme disciplinarian, and that he was not. It's what Cleveland needed and still could use if possible.
We get it. You like the Campbell types.
An example,
You like the
Vrabel.
Vrabel
Yeah,
types.
Bill Parcells
Leader of men.
from back in the
Say
day.
it,
Mike
Steve.
Vrabel.
Leader of men.
Yeah, leaders amongst men. That's really what I want the Browns to get, and that looks like that's not even looking positive right now. They might have to go young,
Yeah.
Stefanski said the same things over and over again. That became a problem for me. His famous line, "We didn't play well enough, didn't coach
And
well
it's
enough
on me or something.
today, and I need to coach better." I mean, gosh, he said that over and
awful.
over. The only one worse than that I can remember is Pat Shermer saying, "We battled, guys, we battled."
Do you know what I got to
I mean-
say? He was awful with the media. I will say this.
Yeah.
Kevin was never good in front of the media. I mean, he may have had some football knowledge. He may have been, maybe he was personable behind closed doors.
Well, he
I
did
don't
good. He
know,
did good
but-
giving out the game balls. He did. Really good. Yeah.
When we
He
He
did
gave
have
out like a
some
Snickers
success,
bar.
yeah,
And
he
Miles,
was
good job for the
interesting.
Snickers. I don't know.
Oh, jeez.
Did good.
And as we know, Andrew Berry gets to keep his job when he did many things wrong. But, like I just mentioned earlier, the 25 draft kept his job.
Last
That
thought.
saved his behind, guys.
Last thought on that. Do you think that Jimmy just doesn't trust himself to find a new GM?
Bingo. You're 100% right.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
He just-
I don't want to go in this alone.
Yeah. Exactly.
Well, him and Andrew Berry, Jimmy and Andrew, they started to form a relationship.
They did.
Sashi Brown a long time ago had a relationship with Jimmy.
Yeah.
Andrew Berry was kind of in the underwing. He was the young sir in the underwing. And then remember, Berry leaves to Philadelphia. He loses a guy that he wanted. And then boom, we get him back. Him and
That's
Berry
right.
are kind of tied at the
He'll
hip.
chase Berry.
They're kind
Yeah.
of tied at the hip.
Yeah.
That's his side.
It's,
That's
you know
his
what he
man.
is? He's the guy that like Jerry Jones had his son hold the glasses. Barry holds the glasses for.
He's had too many misses. We're terrible at wide receiver. We're terrible on the offensive line.
Oh, yeah,
I
he
believe he
should be
deserves
gone,
some of the blame for the Watson decision. We're here for a reason. I mean, you have to judge his record in totality. That's what I'm
Now
saying.
here's something I'm going to say about this before we go further with Barry.
Yeah, go ahead.
I have to mention it, and I said this in other casts. We don't know if Barry's at complete fault here because there's a part of me thinks the boogeyman, Deep Podesta, was picking the groceries more.
Yeah.
Just saying,
Yeah, I
guys.
know.
Maybe that's the part. See, the problem is, as a fan, we really don't know.
Yeah,
We really don't know who had the ultimate decision picking the groceries. No, we know that Haslam picked Watson, but do we really know that Barry made all those picks? I got a feeling it was more Depot. If I had to pick, I'm picking Depot.
Okay.
Yeah, I think Deep Podesta was, yeah.
I just do.
And Barry can be more Jimmy's puppet role, as could a young
Yeah.
coach. It would have been better to just clean house. Now, I would not want to ever see Jim Schwartz go because I love him. But if you considered Brian Flores, or if you considered Green Bay's guy, Jeff Halfley.
Yeah, their defensive coordinator.
If you considered guys like that, you need a new GM and a new head coach.
Yeah,
and the Browns aren't going to go there. Jimmy was not going to go there.
No.
I'm a Flores guy. I would put him up near the top of the list. Schwartz, Flores are two of the names that I have up there on my list. I don't think there's any chance in the world we're getting John Harbaugh. Let's just be fair about this whole situation.
I think we're gonna get another skinny jeans coach I think we're getting like a Clint Kubiak. We're getting somebody. We're gonna
guys. I will say
we're getting
this,
a puppet. We're getting a puppet.
geez.
I
Please
do
no.
like Clint Kubiak, guys.
Okay.
If Barry
No,
could talk,
you want-
talk him into you know,
The better
Yeah.
version of that is Joe Brady. If you want, I would throw Joe Brady, who's been the OC there with the Buffalo Bills, designed that Joe Burrow offense, was the brains behind the Joe Burrow offense at LSU in 2019. That's where he first made his
First
bones.
time head coach.
Yeah,
I think
but
we're getting it, guys. We're not getting an experienced guy.
He's the better version of Clint Kubiak. Now I'm
Yeah.
with Steve. I'm onto this. Steve's won me over on Leader of Men is the thing.
Oh,
So,
I want what Steve wants, but
Yeah.
here's the thing: it ain't gonna happen.
there's no one really available. Like you know,
They're not getting hardball,
Flores a little bit, but I mean,
but they don't. They're not gonna get a guy
wanna-
like that.
They want to hire an offensive mind. Have you guys heard that? I
yeah,
know they're
I
gonna,
think they will.
they're
You're
going to
right.
interview some defensive minded guy.
They just,
But
God, he's right.
Yeah.
it's unfortunate.
No, Steve's right because we want the leader of men, and usually these leader of men. Let's be honest, they're mainly defensive.
Yeah, that's
They're
true.
defensive gurus or they're defensive rah guys, and we're not.
True.
We're probably not
Yeah,
going to get one.
Campbell, Vrabel,
Yeah.
yep.
Continue, Steve. Sorry.
So Stefanski, you know, as we know, he will get hired right away, but it was time for change. I hope they both get it right from the meaning the Browns and Stefanski. It was time to move on. Hopefully we do better. And I'm fine if Stefanski does good somewhere else. That's fine. I just know it couldn't be here
Okay.
in Cleveland. I could see him because Harbaugh might get that Giants job. You could see him in the Atlanta job.
Yeah.
You know,
Atlanta seems like a
Stefanski.
spot for him. It
Yep.
does.
Yeah, Atlanta
I
could
mean,
be
it's a possibility.
Right.
Or the Titans. I mean, the Titans
Titans,
want him
Titans, yeah.
for Stefanski.
Right.
Obviously, as we said, the biggest firing was John Harbaugh of the Ravens. He should definitely be number one. You said, what, 7 teams wanted him out of 8?
And there was
They
Who
all
was the
want him.
team that didn't, I wonder?
And
Sounded like
we
everybody.
might get a situation, guys, where nobody will get hired until next week because Harbaugh is the first domino to fall.
Yeah, it would be interesting to see how this interview process goes. I think, like I said, I heard that there was a team that even had a coach that wanted John Harbaugh. He's going to be interesting to see how much teams pony up for him too, as far as what kind of contract he gets.
There's some word out there. Just give him the 10-year, $100 million deal that the Raiders gave John
Godfather
Gruden.
offer.
Yeah, wow.
The Godfather offer.
Yeah.
And maybe that could get him to come.
I just don't know if
To your
I don't
team.
think the Browns want him. I think the Browns want the puppet, and he's not the puppet. That's what I think.
Yeah, he's definitely not a puppet.
That's just it. Some coaches don't want to come here no matter what.
That's true too.
You
So
know?
there's some of that, and I hate to tell you, guys, we're not gonna get the Bill Parcells type here.
Well,
we're just
yeah.
not getting it.
Yeah.
We're gonna
Not
get a
this year.
puppet, first time head coach, and it's probably gonna be an offensive mind. That's what I feel. Go ahead.
And like I said, I'd love to get him too, but I don't see the alignment with Jimmy Haslam and Andrew Berry. I just don't see it. I'd love to have him, but I don't know where he's going to go. But he will get hired right away. We thought probably the Giants would be a good spot for him in the NFC.
Yep.
Raheem Morris of the Falcons. I was going to say that move did surprise me. 8-9 2 years in a row, like we mentioned. But I would have given him one more
Me
season.
too.
That division is so bad, guys. I mean, as we
Yeah.
know, Tampa, Carolina, Atlanta. Atlanta was right there with them. You know, they finished all 8-9. At least you were at the top of your division, even though it's a losing record.
They had some close losses this year. You flip a couple of plays here and there. That's a 9-8, 10-7 football team winning that division right now. I wonder if Arthur Blank, who I agree is a really good owner, I agree with you on that, Brent.
Mhm.
He may have pressed the panic button a little too
He did.
quickly. I know there was probably a desire this season with some of the talent on the roster for this team to at least be a playoff team. I would have still given Morris one more year.
I agree.
think I would have.
100%.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to move right into the Browns and the Bengals recap. We're going to get to Mr. Dave Greenshield. Dave, go ahead and give us the recap there for the Browns and Bengals game. They've got to win, though, Dave, to kind of finish up the season. And
Well, actually, no, I did not, Brent. Actually, I did pick the.
I know. No. I'm saying the Browns got to win.
The Browns got to win.
My
Oh,
bad,
okay.
my bad.
Yes, I'm sorry, Brent. Yeah, the Browns beat the Bengals 20-18 in Week 18 in Cincinnati, finishing the season with 2 consecutive wins over division opponents. They closed the Stefanski era and ended on a winning streak. By the way, 2 games in a row. With 3 seconds on the clock, Browns kicker Andre Smith down 18-17, had a chance to win the game with his foot. Shedeur Sanders led the offense down the field to set up the game-winning field goal after Jamar Chase's 4-yard touchdown gave the Bengals an 18-17 advantage with 1:29 left. Sanders directed a 10-play, 40-yard drive capped by Smith's 49-yard field goal as time expired, as the Browns rallied to defeat the Bengals 20-18 in the season finale on Sunday. The Browns got the ball on their 29 with 1:23 left. And on 3rd and 10, Isaiah Bond had a 13-yard clutch reception to move the change. 3 plays later, Sanders had an 11-yard completion to Jerry Jeudy with 31 seconds left on the clock. Nice catch by Jeudy. He bobbled the ball on that one. This got the Browns into Smith's range. Sanders closed out his rookie season with a 111-yard passing performance, completing passes to 8 different receivers. Overall, Shedeur's thoughts. It was not his best day before the final drive. He still does, he does that poor job of handling pressure and not throwing the ball away. This was emblematic of the fact that he got sacked 6 times in this game. He had several throws into traffic. Brent, I thought he easily could have had a couple picks. He was flirting with danger, I think, a couple of times.
Oh, yeah, no doubt about it. He was.
I know he ended the game with a last drive that led to the game-winning kick. Just overall, there's too much bad, at least through over 3 quarters in this one. I went with a C- for his performance. Your thoughts, Brent?
Yeah, I thought his performance, I'm not going to give him a good grade. I felt like, he had the game-winning drive at the end, but for the most part, he didn't, he didn't. I felt like he was inconsistent, and I felt like he was inconsistent in some of the previous games.
Yeah, that was the thing about it is there's too many. Again, I think we're back to some of the fundamentals escaping him. He's holding the ball too long. He's not recognizing pressure. Again, I thought there was a couple of chances where he could have had picks in this one, and you know what? It was nice to see him close with the game-winning drive. Good for him, leading the Browns down the field and hitting a couple of big throws. It was nice to see him get some help from his wide receivers. Thought that was a nice catch by Jeudy, where he kind of double clutched the ball and helped get the Browns in the field goal range. Overall, gentlemen, this was really a Myles Garrett game. He set the single-season sack record in the 4th quarter, notching his 23rd sack after bringing down Joe Burrow with 5:14 left in the game. He got Cincinnati's Joe Burrow for a 6-yard loss at midfield, surpassing the 22.5 sacks by Michael Strahan and T.J. Watt. This was the bright spot for Browns fans in what has been a horrible season. He had 2 quarterback hits on this historic day. So cheers for Myles, on a very disappointing season, Steve. I think it was nice to see him break the sack record.
Oh, absolutely, Dave. I mean, I had a feeling he would do it. He always has good games against the Bengals and Joe Burrow. Burrow was not concerned. He was going to let it happen if it had to be. I mean, Garrett definitely deserved it, and he did it in a lot less snaps than a lot of these other guys, Dave.
Yeah, that's the thing about it is that's where I think the 17-game versus 16-game theory goes out the window. I think it was a nice bright spot on what was a very disappointing season for the Browns. It was good to see his family there. I'm sure they enjoyed it as he broke the single-season sack record. Linebacker Devin Bush recorded his 2nd pick 6 of the season, picking off Burrow in the 1st quarter. Bush recorded 14 total tackles in addition to his touchdown. Sam Webb added a defensive score with a 47-yard scoop and score in the 2nd quarter on the Bengals' next possession. Some final numbers in this one. I found this one interesting. The Bengals actually outgained the Browns in this game, 364 yards to 200 for the Browns. The Bengals had 24 total first downs to the Browns' 11. The big difference in this game was the 2 defensive touchdowns. This wasn't necessarily an inspiring effort by the offense, right, Steve?
Yeah, they had a tough time, the offense did. Thank goodness for the defense. The defense won it for him, really.
Yeah, any thoughts on Shedeur? I said C-. He did close strong with the game-winning drive. But again, the 6 sacks, I thought he was holding the ball a little too long in some instances. He wasn't recognizing pressure. I thought he flirted with disaster. There could have been a couple of picks there earlier in that game, Steve.
Yeah, there could have been. That's for sure. The defense, I mean, I kind of feel like they won it for him, you know? I mean, I really do.
Overall grade, I went C minus. So where would you go?
I might want to give him a B just because we got the victory. I know that sounds almost nice. I mean, see,
Yeah, that's yeah.
Needless to say, you've been a little generous with these Shador grades this season, Steve.
should he did? I heard you watched the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show, and
Yes.
Jake Crawford said that I didn't agree with him. He said that game-winning drive meant that he got an A+. No, it didn't.
No.
I'm glad he got that, by all means. I'm glad he got that, but here's the deal. That doesn't excuse the inconsistent play. Like, what?
Right, you have to look at the game in its totality. And overall, he did not play very well. I mean, Judy made a nice, double clutch catch there for him to kind of get him into field goal range. He had the one throw to Bond. So he had 2 throws on the final drive to help get him into field goal range. We're going to make that an A performance. I mean, after, the body of work for the entire game looked awful. I can't go there. I mean, I thought I was being kind of going C minus. Some other final numbers in this one. Joe Burrow was 29 of 39 for 236 yards with 3 touchdowns. And he did have the interception for the Bengals. Chase Brown had 72 yards rushing to go over the 1,000-yard mark for the first time in his 3-year career. Jamar Chase had 8 receptions for 96 yards, including a touchdown. This was really a performance by the Browns offense. It's pretty forgettable. Leading rusher was Dylan Sampson. He averaged only 3.2 yards per carry. And the leading receiver was Cedric Tillman. Your guy Tillman, only 23 yards receiving in this one. This was a very forgettable offensive performance. This was a day for Miles and the defense. Without the receipt, they were. By the way, one of the things taken into consideration, they were without the services of Denzel Ward, who left the game in the first half with a neck injury. Overall, the defense forced turnovers. They got the 2 defensive touchdowns, and more importantly, Miles got the sack record. Just in conclusion, this was a positive way to end the season with 2 straight wins. It did not help the team's draft position, right, Steve? We would have liked to have had a little bit better draft pick.
That's right, Dave. What would you say? Are they getting the 6th pick? I mean, 6 or 7?
Yeah.
I think it's 6.
6th pick,
right?
Yes, that's correct. Yeah, the thing about it is the Jacksonville Jaguars aren't exactly helping the cause with the way they're playing football right now either.
Yeah, no doubt.
Wouldn't you know, it was the defense that had to bail the offense out in this one. Where have we heard that before? This continues to leave questions about the quarterback position, in my view. I know Shador is your guy, Steve. He has a lot to work on in the offseason, and there's still no guarantee he will be the starter. It'll be interesting to see what the new staff thinks moving forward. This was a day for the defense. Kudos to Miles. In my view, he's going to go down with Reggie White as I think the greatest defensive end to ever play. Wouldn't you put him up there and near the top of the list, Steve?
Oh yeah, I'd put him right up there with Reggie White,
Bruce Smith. Yeah,
right? Yeah.
The dominant defensive end pass rushers, I would say.
Now we just need a championship for him, though.
That'd be nice. Well,
bring a championship to Cleveland and Miles Garrett.
You might want to pump the brakes on that, Steve.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like any time soon.
Let's see if we can get a winning record, maybe another playoff appearance. That'd be nice. It's just too bad. He may be looking at another Joe Thomas type situation, a Hall of Fame talent, and never really gets a chance at a ring. This is yet another long season in the books, gentlemen, with a team looking for another new coach. It just seems, Brent, that we've been here before. Way too much as a Browns fan. Your thoughts?
Yeah, so my take on it was, it looked like a regular Browns game to me this year. The offense inconsistent, not moving the needle. We're just kind of, just staying in the game. Burrow, that was kind of odd how he didn't really had his game going, or in the previous game he did have his game going. So, it just, my take was, even though it was a win, it was like the Steelers game. The defense kind of was the reason why it held up, and it's I'm glad they got the win by all means, but I just don't. I'll be honest, I'm not in a convincing, confident manner for next year in the quarterback position for the Browns.
Yeah.
And did you hear what Andrew Berry said about they might have to look externally for a quarterback? What was your thoughts on that?
Well, do you go after a veteran? I know Mac Jones is a name that could be out there. Somebody like that. I mean, that's a veteran quarterback or quarterback that's been around for a little bit. Played well in San Francisco in a few games, backing up Purdy this year, Steve.
Yeah.
Do you have a thought on a veteran quarterback maybe coming in behind Shador? Because as you're looking at it right now, do we go into just your thought on this? Do we go into the season next year with Shador, Dylan Gabriel, and Deshaun Watson. Do we go into the season next year with those same three guys?
I think that's probably how it's going to go, Dave, because I guess they're saying it's too much money. Deshaun Watson, I think they want to keep him and pay him in his last year. I do. Mac Jones, I wouldn't mind Mac Jones, but
right. Well, I think they're going to have to restructure the Watson contract to save some money. That'll help them with their cap situation, I think, a little bit. But I mean, we've already seen what Dylan Gabriel can do, or can't do, I should say. Run quarterback with a water pistol for an arm. No, but I think Shador needs a strong offseason. Be interesting to see whatever type of coach they hire. Is it an offensive-minded coach, or if it is a defensive-minded coach, can they find the right OC or quarterback coach to kind of help with his development? He's going to need to make a big jump this offseason, that's for sure. But yeah, I wouldn't mind, seeing them, maybe look at a veteran in the offseason and, give that a shot. But overall, just, a kind of a disappointing season. So.
Yeah, no doubt about it, Dave. Like I said, I think that, we're just going to have to, next year will be interesting to see, where we go from there with Shador Sanders and the team. And hopefully, we can do better next year. But I think it's all going to come down to what coach we get, right?
Yeah, well, right. And that's going to be a big part of the interview process.
Yeah.
With Shador and the coach. Is this coach, favorable to Shador as his future quarterback, or does he? The other thing, Brent, remember what we talked about before. I'm not real optimistic about this draft.
I know.
Will it be Moore or Mendoza? Ty Simpson, the quarterback for Alabama, who was good early but bad late in the year, has entered the draft. So, I thought Shador might get the job next year by default, just for the simple fact that I don't think this is a good quarterback class moving forward.
Yeah, I know you said that. I don't think the Browns are going to do any package. Do you think they're going to package anything up to go up to get him? I don't see to go up to get a quarterback. I don't see that happening. Mendoza or I think Moore probably going back to college, right?
Yeah, it could be. It'll be interesting to see how he closes out with these one, maybe two playoff games. He's got the semifinal against Indiana, could play in the national championship game.
Yeah.
I would be interested to see if he closes strong.
Yeah.
So,
no doubt. All right, we will turn to Mr. Steve Retzer. Steve, give us your insight on the Browns and the Bengals. Recap there for it. Give us your take on that game and the win and how we closed out the season.
Well, boys, as you know, we got the win 20-18. I had questions in this game, and I got answers. I wondered if this would be Stefanski's last game, and it had been just that, guys. I asked, would Myles Garrett get the sack record? And he did end up getting it. I asked if Shador would show enough to be the starter in 2026. That answer is yet to be determined.
Okay.
But he's put up a good case in doing so, boys.
All 111 yards, Steve.
I know that's bad. I know that's bad, 111 yards.
Wait, you said he got a B+? Is that what your grade is?
I'm just going to go with B.
Okay, all right.
Grades on a curve.
My God.
I'm getting him the curve, yeah,
What, did he give you a recipe for your reunion? Or
Here's what he did do. Shador beat Aaron Rodgers and Joe Burrow in back-to-back weeks. That's pretty good, guys.
Okay.
That's really good in my eyes. He won his first career start beating the Raiders, something Browns rookies haven't done in years. He finished 3-4 as a starter this season. He nearly beat Josh Allen, as we know, MVP last year. Could be an MVP candidate this year.
Sure.
Only lost to the Bills by 3. He nearly beat the Titans, but losing on a coaching decision. That's what I would say in that game. He did get beat, I will admit this, badly by the 49ers and the Bears. Besides those two losses, I thought he played pretty good for a rookie quarterback, especially in Cleveland.
Last thing before we kind of wrap up the Shador subject here, guys. Just when you look at his skill set as a quarterback, I just a few things, Steven. I'll let you comment on this, Brent, if you want to chime.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. I think he's got a decent arm. I think he's fairly accurate, but he's a little bit more mobile than people give him credit for. But the fundamentals, the breaking from the pocket, which we talked about ad nauseum. Your ex-girlfriend even noticed that in the preseason, Steve. The breaking from the pocket, not good, Steve. I don't think he recognizes pressure very well.
Yeah.
I don't think he gets rid of the ball quickly.
And decision making. I don't think his reads are always the greatest either, to be
going
fair.
through his progressions could be a lot better.
Correct.
He did a better job early in that Steeler game of throwing with anticipation. I just don't know if the good overrides the bad, because there's still some stuff there that he needs to
You know what I'm going to
clean
be
up.
fair about him?
Go ahead.
We talked about this, Dave, I think a couple weeks ago at the bar. I said to you, is he a 5th-round pick? The answer is no.
No,
But you know what I think? He's not a 1st-round pick.
No.
We said meet in the middle.
Yeah,
Did we not?
I would say
and you agree.
I would say he's probably a 2nd-round pick.
Yeah.
Because of the way Shuck has played and what we've seen of Dart right now.
I would go late 2nd, early 3rd, to be fair.
And still maybe Ward. There were probably at least 3 quarterbacks we can name.
Maybe in the Dylan Gabriel spot.
Yeah, I would even
probably
go
sooner.
I would even go a little sooner than Gabriel. But I think that's where he's at.
Yeah, I think he's about a 2nd-round pick.
Yeah, go ahead.
Steve.
The old guys, he didn't play a great game by any means, but he did just enough to win. The Browns defense basically won this game for us.
Yes.
As we said, both of the touchdowns were scored by defense. Devin Bush intercepted the Joe Burrow pass that was tipped by Shelby Harris.
Yes.
I'm glad to see he stepped it up a little bit towards the end of the year. Returned it 97 yards for the score and the pick 6. Cornerback Sam Webb, scooped up that fumble forced by Jerome Baker from tight end Noah Font, and he ran at 47 yards for the touchdown. The Browns defense showed why there is a good reason to keep defensive coordinator Jim Schwartz around and get an interview for the heading coaching job. The defense was after Joe Burrow all day, pressuring him. Safety Grant Delpit got a sack in the 3rd quarter, stopping the Bengals drive. The biggest sack of the day, obviously, as we know, was Myles Garrett sacking Burrow in the final minutes of the game. And it broke the NFL single-season record, giving him 23, like we mentioned.
A quick thought. Is any thought about Burrow maybe pulling a Brett Favre there? I don't think
I know they were asking.
No, I don't think he did.
I don't think so.
I don't think he did because I just don't. It didn't look like it was deliberate. Like Brett. Yeah.
He got in and he just went down because, he was going to be down.
Yeah.
Here's the deal, though. Garrett did it with 437 snaps.
Yes.
Michael Strahan, 567,
Yes.
and J.J. Watt, 616.
Wow.
So Garrett reached it much faster, guys. So you got to give him that.
Did you hear Strahan?
What's that?
He goes, my record's still intact. I played a 16-game season.
Yeah, you figured he's going to say that.
This was, Eric Dickerson still owns the single-season rushing record. OJ did it in 14.
Yeah.
Dickerson did it in 16. We've heard these arguments. Dickerson was actually trying to make this case last year. If Barkley would have broken his record last year, if he was
Barkley would have did it in game 17.
in game 17. So I'm done with this.
Here's the deal. We can't do this asterisk thing. We just can't.
Right.
It's not possible. The game's going to evolve. Matter of fact, there's going to be an 18-game schedule here coming up soon. So
more records
we're
broken.
not doing
there's
that.
going to be more records broken.
Yep.
All right, continue.
Well, guys, Joe Burrow does still show how he's the 2nd or 3rd best in the game. Burrow threw 3 touchdown passes to Chase, Higgins, and Brown. Higgins and Chase showed why they are the top wideouts in the league, or closer to it. Running back Chase Brown broke the 1,000-yard rushing total for the season, and he showed how he can catch the ball as well. The Bengals defense actually played good in this one. They sacked Shador 6 times.
Yeah.
Cameron Sample led the way with 2 sacks. What do you think, Dave?
Some of those were on Shador. Again, he needs to do a better job of recognizing pressure. I agree. The Browns have issues on the offensive line. Whippler got carted off earlier in this game. I'm not real optimistic. I took a look at what the Browns' offensive line could look like next year. They really need to address some things in the draft. But again, it's about him getting to the sideline, throwing the ball away, going to a check down, progressions. Again, Brent, there's some stuff there that's got to be cleaned out.
Think about what can he bring to the table that you would want to bring him back. To me, there's like 3 things.
Yes.
Number 1 is he's got the arm. And he's got the body size.
Yeah.
That's number 1.
Yeah.
Number 2, sneaky mobility. In the NFL these days, that's a key asset.
Well, you don't need to be like Lamar, Michael Vick level. Just so long as you can do enough to evade the pocket and run for 6 yards when it's 3rd and 5 is all that's
What was the one knock on Bernie Kosar, boys? What was it?
He was immobile.
Yeah.
Immobile. Wouldn't it have been nice if Bernie could have snuck and got us 6 yards? It would have been nice.
Yeah.
So I think Shador has that, and I think the third is just I think he's a likable guy. He fits the
Sure.
popularity train.
Sure.
Good to sell tickets. But I'll tell you what, I'm with Dave on this. He lacks in all of the basics of a quarterback, though. But you hope you can work that out in the offseason.
Yeah,
right?
there's just some stuff that he was trying to do in the Big 12 that he thinks he can get away with in the NFL that you're not going to get away with in the NFL.
Yeah, he's staring down receivers.
Yes.
He probably zeroed in on certain receivers.
Yeah, that's part
in
of
the
it.
NFL, you can't do that. You got to throw the intermediate throws,
Right.
out routes.
Yes.
You got to throw the deep ball, throw the dink and dunk. You got to do a little bit of everything.
Right, yeah, it's really more intermediate than it is, deep throws and screens. You have to make your money throwing a 15-yard out, throwing the dig, throwing route concepts like that.
Like he said, recognizing pressure, know when to throw it away.
Exactly.
He has not learned that, Steve. You know he hasn't.
Steve, some thoughts?
Yeah, he's learning. But by the way, John Harbaugh wanted to draft him. They wanted to make him a Raven before he became a Brown. So, I mean, just food for thought there.
Okay.
And you can make an argument he would have been better served to be a Raven.
Well, yeah, I think if he could sit
He
behind
didn't
a
want to
really
play for the Ravens and back up Lamar.
Because it's like
He'd be a
it's
good
death,
compliment to Lamar.
Yeah.
it's a death sentence to be a backup to Lamar because
You're never going to start.
And not only that, you're not going to get your help me out commercials and
like if he could sit behind a
Steve.
really good veteran quarterback like a Stafford and then learn from a McVay, then maybe there's a chance there.
You have to be honest about Shador. He probably would have been better sitting behind a stud quarterback.
Well, that's why I said Stafford and then McVay to be his coach. That would have been like
and he's doing it. He's doing it the hard way now because you know what he's going to need now, boys. He's going to need the right coach to get him back on track.
Yeah.
That's what I feel. Continue.
All right, guys. Besides the Garrett sack, the best story of the day was the Browns kicker Andre Schmidt. He kicked the 49-yard game-winning field goal in the last seconds of the game, winning the game for us. It was a redemption game for him, guys. In the first game of the year against the Bengals, he missed an extra point and a field goal to lose the game for us. I admit I wanted him gone, guys. They gave him a chance. He's been nearly perfect for the rest of the year. What a great kid. I'll probably be changing my mind if he misses field goals next year,
I hear you, Steve.
Yeah.
They carried him off the field, and deservingly so. I was happy Shador got a win to end the season. I'm happy Stefanski is gone, but I'm glad he got a win in his last game coaching for us. I wish him luck wherever he goes. It was a long season, and that's why we always say there's always next year.
There you go, Steve.
Well said, Steve Retzer. All right, we will get to the next segment, and that is the game of the week. Steve, why don't you lead us with the game of the week? And how'd that go for you, bud? You get a win to kind of...
Somebody got to win, Steve.
I got to win, guys.
Yeah.
What?
There was good things and bad things on the win.
Yes.
This is what I'm going to get into.
That's right.
I had Tampa and Carolina. Tampa Bay won 16-14. In a rain-soaked regular season finale, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers edged out Carolina 16-14. The game was a defensive struggle, defined by sloppy conditions and high stakes.
Weather had a lot to do with that, Steve. Yeah, I watched that game.
It really did. As both teams entered the day with the chance to keep their NFC titles hopes alive. Tampa Bay controlled much of the early momentum. They jumped out to a 10-0 lead in the first quarter thanks to Baker Mayfield touchdown pass to Cade Otton. Cade Otton had a good game, guys. Weren't you guys surprised there? Out of all those good receivers, tight end Cade Otton, he's been solid.
He's been a solid, reliable target. I think he's played well considering they've had some injuries at wide receiver, too. He's given Baker another target in the passing game.
Exactly. However, Carolina remained resilient throughout the afternoon. The turning point occurred in the fourth quarter when the Panthers trailed 13-7, attempted a flea flicker trick play.
Yeah.
Running back Rico Dowdle slipped on the wet turf and botched the pitch back to Bryce Young.
Yeah, can I just say that was a horrible play call. It was on the worst part of the field. They had gotten some momentum. They'd gotten a few first downs. They'd hit a key fourth down play, I believe, before that down the field. Why they're running a flea flicker on that spot on the field, I'll never know. It's probably a good chance it cost them the football game at that point. You're right. It was the key play, Steve.
Exactly. And then legendary linebacker Levante David, which this could be his last year, Dave. I know we spoke about that. He recovered the fumble. Oh, a great career in Tampa. He recovered the fumble, stalling a critical Carolina drive. Baker Mayfield, he finished 16-22, 203 yards, a touchdown interception. He made several gutsy plays, though, guys, including a late third down scramble and a sidearm throw Titan to help burn the clock. Bryce Young, he did better than Baker at the passing, 2 touchdowns, interception. He nearly led a miracle comeback, guys. He found Jalen Coker for a touchdown with 2:31 remaining to put the score within 2. As we know, Kate Otten was the standout of the day, 7 catches, 94 yards. T-Mac.
Yeah.
Gosh, he had a great
McMillan.
year. You've talked about him all
Yeah,
season.
you know what?
He's a top receiver for the rookies.
I think, regardless, and I think Carolina's got an uphill climb this week with the Rams, who I think, especially if the Rams are healthy, see if they get back O-line or where they're at with Devontae Adams this week. We'll probably get into that with in our game preview.
Sure.
But in any case, I just have to say, I think Carolina's done some positive things this year, even though it's a losing season. Bryce Young at times has looked good. They found a number 1 receiver. The defense is a little bit better. The offensive line's a little bit better. You give this team another draft next year, they could be an interesting team in a division that's very winnable, Steve.
Absolutely.
That's for sure, guys. The T-Mac finished with 84 yards, including a massive 40-yard catch on 4th and 8 that set up Carolina's final touchdown. While the Buccaneers celebrated on Saturday, their playoff hopes rested entirely on New Orleans Saints beating the Atlanta Falcons on Sunday. God, that was so unfortunate.
Baker was the
so
Saints
hard?
fan.
I knew Tampa was going to get the win, but then we needed Tyler Shuck.
Yeah,
he won a bold prediction for me last week. We just needed him to back Tampa up, and he didn't come through in the clutch, guys.
Now here's what we said. Let's recover this, guys. In the last episode, what did we say?
Yes.
If he wins, he is not going to Fraud Island, Baker Mayfield. Does that stand, or are you going to put him on it because the tiebreaker thing didn't happen?
No,
he does not go on the island.
No, I think Baker. I don't think he played great today. On Saturday against the Panthers. I think that was about their defense and maybe the shortcomings that still are there with the Carolina offense. But it's going to be interesting to see how Baker performs next season. He
needs a rebound a little bit.
A little bit of a rebound. I don't know if he goes back to 2024 Baker when he throws 40-plus touchdown passes. Again, when healthy, this is a solid supporting cast. I wonder what Chris Godwin's future looks like there in Tampa, especially with Emeka Egbuka there. But there's some good parts there. Baker still has talent. There's still some inconsistency there. We saw some of that.
Yeah, there is. He's got.
Yeah,
somebody was saying that he does better when there's a chip on his shoulder.
That's true.
When they count him out, he's his best.
Steve's point is a good one. I'll take that injured. Steve, if he gets healthy, because he was playing really good football before he got injured.
Yeah, because they were 6-2. If you remember, then they lost.
We need to see
every game after that.
Hey guys, it's like Shador. We kind of need to see it again.
Yeah, but he's built up enough credibility so far in
Tampa.
You would
think he would.
Yeah, if he has a good offseason, rehabs, comes back fresh next year with a solid supporting cast, we'll see.
And I think you're right, Dave. I think you're right. Chris Godwin may be gone. I mean, he's a veteran. He's always injured. Besides Mike Evans, who could be retiring soon too. I mean,
that's true.
To see there too. Well, they got Emeka Egbuka. They also have Tez Johnson, and they got McMillan. McMillan's a solid receiver too. They have. Yeah. He has other weapons in the up and coming. That's why I love how Tampa produced that roster.
Yeah.
What do they do, Dave? Like we said in the extravaganza.
Yes.
They have guys ready to come up and fill the void. When someone gets injured, they're ready to play.
Well, imagine that. When players are getting older, let's go draft their replacements so that we're prepared.
Yeah.
Unlike certain organizations.
What a concept.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Anyhow, guys, my playoff hopes were ruined for Tampa. Baker played injured all season long. Evans was hurt. Bucky Irving was hurt. Tristan Wirfs was hurt. It was just a long season, and Tampa's defense didn't help either.
Right.
Tampa's defense didn't play good this year. I think Tampa Bay bounces back next season, and they just got to get healthy, guys.
All right. Well said, Steve. Yeah, we will turn to Mr. Dave Greenshield. Dave, did you get a win to kind of wrap up the season?
Well, not so much, Brent.
Okay.
This all goes back to my preseason pick and my first game pick. First game of the week pick of the season. My game of the week this week was the Steelers versus the Ravens. The Steelers claimed their first AFC North title in 5 years with a 26-24 victory that wasn't assured until Baltimore's Tyler Lute missed a 44-yard field goal as time expired. You should have been at the bar, Brett. This was a classic.
I heard there was some bickering going between some friends.
Yes.
Not Dave Greenshot, of course.
I literally was sitting in between a Steeler fan and a Raven fan. It was both of your worst nightmares.
Oh my
Did
gosh.
we get to see? Did we get to
How
see
did
the
you do
worst?
that?
Hey,
Yes.
did we get to see the worst of them, like the Cubs that turned on Bartman?
Well,
was it like that? Did we get to see some bad blood?
There was no
some
fist.
pettiness.
No, there was no fist flying, Brent. It didn't get
Okay.
that bad.
Or beer chugs.
there you go.
Okay, all right. Anyways, continue.
Yes, this would be their first division title since that 2020 season. That would be the years the Browns beat them in the wild card game, Steve, the highlight of the Stefanski era,
That's right.
as we mentioned. Aaron Rodgers hit Calvin Austin for a 26-yard touchdown with 55 seconds left to give the Steelers the lead. Rodgers might have been less than a minute from the end of his historic career when he hit Austin for a touchdown that decided the division title. Jackson drove the team down the field, hitting a massive fourth down pass to put the Ravens into field goal range, but rookie Tyler Loops missed a 44-yard field goal attempt wide right. The 42-year-old Rodgers threw for a season-high 294 yards, the last 26 coming on a go-ahead touchdown pass. He was vintage Rodgers in this one, guys, especially in the fourth quarter when the Steelers needed him most. He had a few throws where he was dead accurate, as I call them dime passes.
Yeah.
This reminded me of prime Green Bay Aaron Rodgers. Steve, you have a thought?
Yeah, remember what he said? Don't bet against me when I have a stinker. That was Aaron Rodgers' statement. I mean, you couldn't go against him. I had a feeling Pittsburgh was going to win this
Dave, I got to put you on the spot.
Yes.
Since you picked the Ravens, that's
Yes.
your team.
He
you
had
know,
to because he picked
I get it. Do you
To the
think?
Super Bowl.
Do you think the Tucker move was an overreaction?
Possibly. I mean, you know
See?
what?
See?
Could they have used Tucker?
You know
That's what I'm saying.
Well, I think their ex-coach could have maybe gotten that kicker a little bit closer. You know, he didn't necessarily need to take a knee there right before he had the kicker come out and make a 40-some-yard field goal. Maybe run Lamar, run Derrick Henry.
I
get
think
him a little
Tucker
bit
would have made
closer.
that field goal.
Yeah, I
If
think
this
so,
would have
too.
never happened, I think he would have made
I think he had his struggles, but I think in the clutch and like that kind. First of all, don't you agree, Steve? With that kind of pressure, Tucker makes that kick.
Yeah, Tucker's going to make it. Yep.
Yeah. Continue.
Yeah, that was more impressive. This performance by Rodgers was more impressive considering he was out without his number one wide receiver, DK Metcalf. Rodgers' historic career will last at least one more playoff game. The Pittsburgh Steelers will host the Houston Texans in the opening round of the playoffs Monday, January 12th, hoping to end their postseason victory drought that stretches back nearly a decade. That's hard to believe, by the way.
Wow.
Perhaps a fitting way for the Ravens season that began with Super Bowl expectations but never seemed quite to get right till the end. This would include Dave Greenshield, who picked them in August as a Super Bowl winner, by the way, in my preseason picks. From the beginning of the Baltimore Ravens season, when they had the epic collapse, by the way, I picked them. My first game of the week was them and the Bills on that Sunday night game in Buffalo. So they ended, didn't start on a good note with the Ravens.
Wasn't it like 40-39 though? It was something. It was close.
Well, Derrick Henry had that key fumble, and they just couldn't stop Josh Allen, by the way. I picked them, by the way, to win 4 of my game of the week picks. They lost all 4. Not good. That's why my record is that bad, by the way.
Yeah.
Sounds like me in Tampa.
Yeah. Baltimore will be searching for answers after a season that went horribly wrong. I guess the first answers are going to be looking for a new head coach after getting rid of John Harbaugh. It was a rough season for star quarterback Lamar Jackson, a season marked by injuries and erratic play. Jackson, dealing with a painful back contusion, passed for 238 yards and 3 scores, including a pair to wide receiver Zay Flowers in the fourth quarter. The Ravens did get off to a hot start in this one when Lamar hitting Devontae Walker on a 38-yard TD throw with 10:54 left in the first quarter, giving the Ravens a 7-0 lead. Pittsburgh trailed 10-3 in the final seconds of the first half when Ravens safety Kyle Hamilton was called for pass interference in the end zone. Kyle Hamilton left with a concussion in the third quarter after colliding with Olahi Gilman. A big loss for the Ravens. The penalty put the ball, by the way, on the 1-yard line with 2 seconds left in the first half. The Steelers had no timeouts and had a decision to make. They called a pass on the field goal, and they decided to go for it. It wasn't necessarily controversial, but the play call was. The Steelers motioned right and left 2 Ravens defenders on the edge with only 1 blocker for them. Rodgers didn't change the play. flipped the ball to Gainwell on the left side, and he immediately was hit by Ravens safety Gilman for a loss of a yard. The time ran out. The Ravens took a 10-3 lead into the locker room. The Steelers scored a TD to start the second half. Then Jackson's pass off a Jackson pass was tipped and somehow ended up in TJ Watt's hands. He reacted quickly to pick the ball off. That set up the Steelers for a field goal and a 13-10 lead. That was where the score would be as we entered the fourth quarter, and it was a wild fourth quarter. Lamar was vintage Lamar when Baltimore needed him most. Jackson had a play that reminded everyone why he was the league's MVP. He moved up in the pocket on a third down, splitting two defenders. He escaped, rolled right, and threw deep to Flowers for a 50-yard touchdown pass. It was one of his best plays of the season, by the way. The Ravens couldn't get a stop right after that. Rodgers drove the Steelers down the field, and despite helmet communication issues that caused the Steelers to use their final two timeouts, Kenneth Gainwell's 2-yard touchdown with 3:49 left gave the Steelers a 20-17 lead. Jackson answered. Somehow, nobody covered State Flowers on a crossing route deep downfield, and he found it for a 64-yard score that gave the Ravens a 24-20 lead with 2:20 left. Rodgers wasn't done. Rodgers found Austin down the left sideline after Uzier fell. Austin scored a 26-yard touchdown with 55 seconds left, but Boswell missed the extra point, and the Steelers had a 26-24 lead. After a long kickoff return, the Ravens needed about 20 yards to get into field goal range. Then a fourth down, but a 4th and 7 situation. Jackson lofted a pass to tight end Isaiah Likely. He came down with it inside field goal range, but Luke missed the field goal wide right. If that situation, once they got into range, I think they should have ran Jackson, maybe ran Henry.
Yeah.
If you get it,
Set a little bit
inside 40
Doesn't it
yards.
sound like their story?
Yeah.
Should have ran.
They got to define their season. Just some final numbers. Derrick Henry ran for 126 yards. Zay Flowers had 4 catches for 138 yards and 2 touchdown receptions. Rodgers really spread the ball out in this one. He had 6 guys who caught 3 or more passes in this one. The leading receiver was actually running back Kenneth Gainwell, who had 8 receptions for 64 yards receiving. This one was really fun, guys. It wasn't necessarily fun for me. It was a great duel in the fourth quarter between the 4-time MVP Rodgers and the 2-time MVP Jackson. Just in conclusion, not exactly the way I wanted my regular season game of the week picks to end. I guess it's a fitting start with Baltimore, going down to a loss. This was a forgettable year for the Ravens, a season that ended with the firing of John Harbaugh. It's just crazy. Nobody would have thought that, even like earlier in the season.
Yeah.
This is still a nice roster. Whatever coach takes over, especially on the offensive side of the ball, it's always nice to have a quarterback in Lamar, a running back in Henry, and a really good wide receiver in Flowers. That's a really good start. It's going to be interesting to see if the Ravens can fix the defense. It cost them, all of the season and at the end of this one. It's going to be interesting to see if this Super Bowl window is still open with the new coach. I think it is, by the way, guys. You think the Super Bowl window is still open? You still have Lamar in his prime.
I do think so, Dave.
Yeah, it's probably open, but I hope they get the right coach,
If they get the right coach, and like we said, if they like to run the ball a little more.
Yeah, more of a
not
complete
depend on
team.
the passing game.
Yep.
Get that defense better. They got a good shot, Dave.
I agree. On to the Steelers. Some closing thoughts there. They're a resilient bunch, especially their quarterback and their coach. This is not a team without flaws, as we've seen much of the season. But they're in the playoff with a home game. Things could be worse. It'll be interesting to see if Rodgers can get his mojo back. It'll help getting back his number 1 wide receiver, DK Metcalf. The defense still has the help of veterans Cam Hayward and TJ Watt, so it's helped to get Watt back healthy on defense. He made a nice play in this one with the interception. The Texans will be a huge test. This is a Steelers team that still has a lot of fight in them. Not the way I wanted things to end, Brent, for the regular season, but I guess there's still the playoffs for some picks.
Yeah, no doubt. Go ahead, Steve.
Yeah, the Steelers fans are happy after this. I talked to many of them. Some of them are some of my best buddies.
Yes.
They loved it. Now they're all over Pittsburgh, all over again. I was going to make this comment real quick. Had Pittsburgh lost and Baltimore makes that field goal,
Yes.
Tomlin's
Mike
gone.
Tomlin, I think they still would have kept him.
Really?
Really?
Baltimore. Well, I was going to ask your thought. Real
Yes,
quick.
I
Your
actually
thought.
think that's
Is
the only...
Tomlin fired?
No, I kind of feel like it dictates
Or they bring
either
him
way.
back.
Yeah.
No, he's gone.
I think the field goal kicker may have decided both coaches'
either
jobs.
Yeah.
And flip
I
it.
kind of feel like Dave. Yeah. Now I'm with keeping. I'll be honest. If I had to pick one of the two who should be kept, I'm keeping Tomlin more than
Okay.
Harbaugh. I feel
too.
like
Me
Harbaugh's slip-ups with not running the football in those 2 playoff games in the past, I think that is more of a fireable offense. I feel like Tomlin just doesn't have the coordinator, the OC. And that's really not on him. That's really upper management to help out with that. So
Yep, needs to upgrade that staff for sure.
yeah, he needs a. But I think Harbaugh. I hate to tell you guys this, but God, he kind of dropped the ball a little bit.
Well,
you
yeah,
know?
as I said, if he gets the ball a little bit closer, maybe it's an easier kick, maybe a 35.
Some
36
decision making with Harbaugh's questionable.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I saw about a record of them blowing fourth quarter leads and some double digit leads, by the way.
Steve has been predicting this the last 3 or 4 years. The Steelers somehow at the very end they grind out a win or do something in the
Always
clutch
a winning record.
to get
Always
them.
make the playoffs.
They always do it, and you know what? You got to commend the coach, right?
Yeah.
And I don't think they've had the best teams, have they, Steve?
No, Tomlin is one with subpar rosters too.
Well,
I mean, not every roster was the top defense.
Got to give him credit.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, well, Ryan, we will head over to my game of the week, 49ers and Seahawks. By the way, just before I go into my spiel here, I'm just the moderator. You know, so if I lose,
Wow.
that's why you like my excuse for my excuse for the loss. I'm just the moderator.
We got a baked in excuse.
I know.
Steve Retzer tell you.
I know.
We
Steve
told
Retzer
you about
goes,
the show.
he goes,
It's like
hey,
Sanders
Brent, what are
winning
you
that football
doing?
game.
He goes, they're going to lose, the Niners.
I told him.
It's hard to win 2 games in a year and all that. So I thought the Niners, because at home,
Yeah.
you know, they got explosive firepower.
Purdy was playing well.
Purdy was playing well. He had the nice hot game. All right, we'll get right in it. In the high-stakes regular season finale with the NFC's top seed on the line, Seattle Seahawks delivered a defensive masterclass stifling of the San Francisco 49ers and a grit and grind 13-3 victory. From the jump, Seattle's front seven turned Levi Stadium into a fortress, holding the league's most explosive offense to its lowest scoring total in nearly a decade and limiting Christian McCaffrey to merely 23 yards. Dave, isn't that crazy?
Yeah, a couple thoughts here. I've felt all year the Seattle defense was a top 5 defense in the NFL. This kind of solidified that for me. It didn't help that San Francisco was down Trent Williams, future Hall of Fame offensive lineman. They were also down a wide receiver in this one. That didn't help the cause. I think injuries are starting to catch up with the San Francisco 49ers. You lose your best offensive lineman, you lose your wide receiver. Their defense played very well in this one and kept them in the game. The key play, they were down 13-3. They had a drive with right around 10 minutes left. Throw to Christian McCaffrey.
And then the drop.
Yep, the drop that turned into an interception inside the 5-yard line.
I saw it.
That was really the last chance for San Francisco to have a chance to pull that one out.
Zach Charbonnet provided the game's only touchdown on a bruising 27-yard burst in the first quarter, while linebacker Drake Thomas slammed the door shut with a clutch fourth quarter interception. We just talked about that at the Seattle 3-yard line. Go ahead, Dave.
Last thing about Seattle, I'm going to get Darnold here in just a second, but I will say this. They may have found a running game with Walker and Charbonnet. There's a case to be made if they have a running game with Walker and Charbonnet. This is the most complete team in the NFL because Darnold's playing really well.
I'm going to have to agree with you.
Defense, you got 2 solid backs.
JSN.
They're the
JSN,
the more I look at it,
Yeah.
the more I look at it, it's a 3-headed monster.
Yeah.
Rams, Eagles, Hawks.
Yeah.
Because Frisco got too many holes in the
Too many injuries.
Too many injuries.
Yes.
They're not complete, and you think they're probably. The odds are, what's his face? Purdy ain't going to just go off again.
I would slightly disagree with you. I would put the Rams and the Seahawks on a tier above Philadelphia.
I know you do. I give Philly a little more credit from the years past because they were the champs. So
I don't know about that offense. But...
I know. I get that. All right. So with Sam Darnold playing mistake-free football and the ground game churning on 180 yards, the Seahawks didn't just win the NFC West. They secured a first-round bye and ensured the road to the Super Bowl goes through the Pacific Northwest, leaving a battle-worn Niners squad to regroup for a tough wild card road trip. So, we talked about that. They're going to have to play the Eagles. That it will be my game. I'm looking forward to that. By the way, we've got a cast coming up Saturday.
Yes.
You guys excited about the cast Saturday?
Playoff football, Brent.
Yeah, this is good. And this is a good. By the way, I'm going to just say this is probably the best NFL season in a long time. This is a nice season.
Well, you know what?
It's wide open.
It's nice to see new teams get in and other teams out. Like,
did you like the Chiefs' dominance? Did you like that, Steve? Be honest.
That gets old.
Yeah.
Now, trust me, I want my Patriots to but it'll take him. It's going to be a few years.
Right.
Yeah.
I love seeing Baltimore out, Cincinnati out, Kansas City out. In a sense,
Yeah, Pittsburgh
there's new
still
blood.
in.
There's new blood.
Go ahead, Dave.
As I'm want to do, as a lot of NFL fans are want to do, I'm looking at the quarterbacks. You know, that 2024 draft class. Caleb Williams took a big step up this year. Drake May took a big step up this year. Bo Nix has played pretty well for the most part in Denver and the number one seed in the AFC.
Yeah.
So that 2024 draft class, which has been so huge. We talked about Penix earlier. Some quarterbacks have worked out better than others in that draft class. So some new younger quarterbacks in this playoff too.
Yeah.
Something to watch for.
Yeah, no doubt about it. All right, we will get to the bowl prediction segment, and we will wrap things up. We will start with Mr. Dave Greenshield.
Yes.
Dave, how was your bowl prediction, buddy?
Well, you know, I went with the Seattle game. I went with Sam Darnold. I went for him to throw 2 or more touchdown passes against the Niners defense. He did go 20 of 26 for 198 yards.
Got one touchdown.
No, he was no
that's right.
touchdowns.
No
I got the
touchdown. That's
touchdown on the ground.
On the ground, I forgot. That's right. Yep.
Now, he missed a little swing pass out of the backfield. They got stopped on downs on their first drive. San Francisco had a really good goal line stand. He missed the running back swinging out of the backfield. That would have been an easy touchdown pass, like a walk-in touchdown pass. But he took care of the ball, which was the most important thing. He didn't implode like he did last year when he was the quarterback of the Vikings in Detroit. You know, and most importantly, he got the win. He is removed from Fraud Island, Brent. We're going to take him off of Fraud Island. I was critical. I was critical at Darnold at the beginning of the season, but they put him into a really good situation. Actually, this is a better situation than he was in Minnesota, and I really like that roster a year ago.
You know, it is interesting because you would have thought that he would have went back to the Vikings, kind of the way
It's like he learned from.
yeah, you're right. The help me out. The implosion at the end. He kind of imploded. He failed. Remember 2 games in a row, guys, last year. You know this. You know what I think too. This Seahawks team is no joke. And I feel like he feels like, hey, we got something here.
Yeah,
Vikings, you couldn't say that last year, could you?
Well, he's still going to be judging him with his playoff performance, Steve.
Yeah. But don't you agree that the Hawks are a better overall team than the Vikings?
Yeah, I didn't. I was unsure about that coming into the season. This defense is even better than I thought. I did like JSN coming in there. And like I said, they found a running game.
Yeah.
Your thoughts, Steve?
I didn't know that Mike McDonald would be the coach he is in Seattle.
Yeah.
I just did. I know he was a good defensive coach. I didn't think Seattle's defense could do it. Remember, they've had injuries, Dave.
Yeah.
And next man up, just like I mentioned with Tampa, came in, they're ready to play, and they do it.
Right.
It's like JSN. I didn't think he was going to be as great as he has been. So, and Darnold's learning. I mean, they're going to be a tough out for anybody, guys.
Yeah, especially
they deserve that one seed.
Especially going to Seattle, which can always be a difficult place to go and get a win.
Exactly. It's loud, and
All right. We will go to Mr. Steve Retzer. Steve, you got to win on your bold prediction, right, to wrap up the regular season, right? You got to win.
This was a loss, unfortunate.
Yeah.
Well, I know you're saying it sarcastically, Brent. I could tell the tone of his voice. I knew where he's trying to go there.
I don't like to stir the pot, do I?
To be fair, both of our quarterbacks got victories, but they didn't put up big numbers, right, Steve?
Exactly, Dave.
Did you guys get like an honorable mention award, or like a participant trophy? Is that what you guys got? Okay, continue, Steve.
Well, guys, I said Baker Mayfield would throw for 3 touchdowns and no interceptions. I should have not put that part in there. And lead Tampa to a win over Carolina. They got the most important with the win, but Baker finished with 1 touchdown and 1 interception. He always seems to get that interception in, too. So I lost my bold prediction. With all those good receivers like Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Emeka Egbuka, Bucky Irving, tight end Kate Otten, Otten had the best game with the 100 yards and a touchdown on the day. Like I said, they had Tez Johnson, McMillan. I just thought he would do it. Someone's going to catch these touchdowns.
Right.
It was a disappointing season for Tampa, who started out 6-2. Baker battled the injuries all season long, and that defense just wasn't enough. But Baker was just short. I'm saying, to make the playoffs of the division.
I'm with you, Steve. I wouldn't be surprised if he comes into the season healthy next year with a solid supporting cast around him if Baker rebounds with a nice season next year.
I think he can bounce back and have a better season.
Yep.
Yeah, no doubt about it. All right, guys, we will go around the table here for some final thoughts. Dave Greenshield, any final thoughts?
Yeah, just, interesting to talk about all the coaches that lost their jobs and some of the openings out there. I do think there are some really good openings. Obviously, the Browns situation is one that we're going to be monitoring closely. Really excited. We got the playoffs coming up this week. Steve, your thoughts?
Oh, I'm excited. I'm real excited for that Pittsburgh-Houston game, by the way, because I kind of had Houston going pretty far.
Yeah,
we know who you're picking
I'm
there.
excited for the playoffs with the Browns. I love Shador winning his last two games. That last two starts, that was huge. Optimistic for next season, but ready for the playoffs, guys.
Yeah, final thoughts. Looking forward to the playoff. Weekend. A lot of good matchups. Like I said, it's probably one of the better NFL seasons that we've had in a while. Like you said, it's wide open. Not Chiefs dominance. It's going to be wide open. I'm looking forward to it, and it should be a lot of fun. So,
Okay.
all right, guys, have a good one. Take care.